As many of you know, the February shows at the Kaiser were kind of a test to see whether deadheads in the local neighborhood could get along, or whether the Kaiser would be added to the list of places the band can no longer play. Well, at the shows, lots of people pitched in to help all of us pass the test. This year's Chinese New Year Mardi Gras celebration, as usual, started earlier for some than it did for others. By Thursday morning, 3 days before the first show, a few buses had arrived and folks were getting ready for the weekend. Some already knew that good behavior was needed or the Dead might lose Oakland's Henry J. Kaiser Convention Center forever.
One of the things that's been happening is people have been picking up their trash. You know, I got friends that they go around, they pick up the aluminum cans in one bag they pick up trash, right? So that helps.
At the same time, others complained of being viewed simply as the problem. This early arriver expressed the alienation he feels from the rest of the world.
They don't see people like we're looking at each other. They don't see that. What they see are people that are just totally spaced out. All they do is want to travel around from city to city, state to state, and listen to Grateful Dead. Well, you know what? Some people like Lawrence Welk, and that's all they do is listen to Lawrence Welk. We like Jerry Garcia, because Jerry and the boys are great.
By Saturday, there were lots of people around, and the official preparations had also begun. Members of the Minglewood Town Council, a group of concerned deadheads, fanned out to explain the problem to those arriving. And the man who's usually the mouthpiece of Bill Graham Presents here became the mouthpiece of BGP out here.
Now, if we obey rules and regulations, everything is lovely.
Okay.
We don't only use the police department if we can keep from it. But if you all don't give us no more chance, now it's up to you all as well as us to make things continue what we want to be.
Well, there's a lot of behavior that we just can't condone anymore because we've already seen the damage that it causes. And how many places do we need to get kicked out of before we won't even be able to tour the country anymore?
The MTC spent hours walking the neighborhood, picking up trash, and talking to deadheads. Even children got into the act. Why is it important to pick up trash around here?
To keep the place clean.
And that's good? Are you going to see all 3 shows?
If I could get in.
Sunday was show number 1, and the park was packed. The MTC had set up a blanket in the park to spread the word, and lots of people helped collect trash. We spent some time asking people what makes the Kaiser so special.
Because it's home. It's the hometown stadium. It's where I have seen more shows than anywhere else.
Well, it's it's Wonderland of the '80s. You know, it's like rock and roll headquarters.
I think it's definitely one of the cooler places to see him. Yeah, the energy really builds up and spirals around in there. Pretty good.
The 2 biggest rule changes for this year's shows were that no tables were allowed and vending had to stop when the show started at 7 p.m. While some would have preferred to stay, most of the vendors we spoke with thought saving the Kaiser was more important.
I think it's fun. I'm kind of looking forward not to having to come out after the show and sell for a change.
I think it's a really good idea that the Dead are trying to tell people today that you haven't been taking care of your trip. If you're going to act like children, you're going to be treated like children. For example, we can't come here anymore.
Even before 7, many vendors started packing up and leaving the park. The scene was pretty much the same all 3 nights. While the park was clearing out, the problem of counterfeit tickets at the entrance was continuing. Grateful Dead ticket representatives warn they confiscated 150 counterfeit Bass tickets a night at the Kaiser. As for the neighborhood, BGP says there were fewer complaints this year than last, and DeJuan Gates of the Minglewood Town Council said most people were feeling good about their efforts.
The police department seems to be very happy with what's going on. They don't seem to have too many major complaints. The neighbors at first were kind of skeptical about having us come back here, but for the most part they too seem to be fairly happy with the way it's been going so far.
But some of the people who live near the Kaiser were unimpressed. While they praised the Deadheads' efforts, they said the problems that caused them to complain in the first place didn't go away. Many of those people showed up 2 weeks later at a meeting of the Oakland Convention Center board and complained angrily that the problems were no better this year than they had been at previous shows. As a result of those complaints, the BGP representative at the meeting withdrew the band's request to play 3 shows at the Kaiser in March, saying he wanted to try to solve the problems with the neighborhood first.